Oh, so we're here with another interview. This is a member of the team we sponsor that is known as Journey with Drone Face. And so that is the actual name that we call him. So we're going to talk to him a bit about his experience in Ukraine. And so, first of all, to get started, do you want to introduce yourself of who you are?
Yeah, so I'm the ATL of Journey with Drone Face. I've been working here in Ukraine for just over the past 2 years now. Started the team with an American lad and been going ever since.
Can you clarify, what does ATL mean?
Assistant team leader.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Long way from home.
Yeah, very long way from home. So maybe, do you want to explain what made you come all the way to Ukraine?
Yeah, so for me, it was more of the fact of I spent, 5 years in the Australian military as an infantry soldier. In the first few months of the war, I sat back and watched it. Very, very sad to see a lot of the civilians getting killed. Also sat back in the Australian military with trained professionals and watched a lot of people say that, come over here and actually help. But didn't see many of them, hold to their word. And I was like, I'll never say that. One day I finally had enough. I was like, I'll go there. And so I quit the Australian military and I got flown over here and started cracking in. Pretty well started with the team in 2022. And yeah, been working with the drones ever since.
Oh, so you were active duty when this started?
Yeah. So I was active duty when it started. Then watched it for a couple of months and finally made the call to quit. I'd done all my service time. So I put my discharge in and now I come over here.
Was there any particular moment or any particular thing you saw happen here that really made that decision for you?
Yeah, there was one village that got attacked. There was a lot of women and children that were murdered. And that for me, that was the final call. If I can save one life and if I can stop one Ukrainian male from having to go and fight and me being pre-trained, made perfect sense for me to obviously come over and give them my time.
After being here 2 years now, what do you think? Did you make the right call?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have been here still. No, I love it. Love the people, the culture here. It's very different to what I'm used to. And that change was quite a shock for a while. But it turns out to be really, really good. I've made some lifetime long friends here. Lost some really good mates as well. But yeah, I love it here.
So you've been in a pretty unique position here where you've been on the same team the entire time, correct? First of all, why is that unique?
It's unique because people either come over here for 3 to 6 months, and that's their thing, which is fair enough. They've dedicated 3 to 6 months of their time. But for me, we started the team with just 2-3 guys with an idea of getting into this drone aspect. And we're starting to see a rise. Started with one Mavic 3 and a Sophie. We were sitting in Bakhmut, just absolutely giving them hell. And then from there, we just grew. We're like, this is actually a viable option of helping win the war. And we just cracked into it, made a proper team, and been going ever since.
So I know basically everybody now talks about drones, and every team has drones of some kind. But you guys were a drone team way earlier than that.
So we originally started with a Sophie. So we'd sit in high-rise buildings. And
can you explain what that is?
So it's like a rangefinder practically with a laser with thermal. So we'd sit at a night time and try and find heat signatures, identify where the line was, and then hit targets via checkpoints, people sitting in trenches, movement of troops, anything like that. And we'd go into those targets with 777s and 120mm mortars, linking with the Ukrainian units to smash those targets. Then we realised, why sit in a building when we can sit in a bit more cover and fly drones, by thermal and by day as well. And we're able to just stop troop movement. We're able to stop people firing mortars. The ease of movement, we made it a lot harder for the Russians.
So I know we can't say a whole lot about what you do regarding drones, but can you comment a bit on if people want to support the war in terms of getting drone teams what they need? What are the things that you guys are always looking for?
Definitely, we look at drones, especially things like DJIs and Autels. They're a consumable item. They only last so long on the front lines before someone shoots them down, or you just have a human failure of stress, tiredness, and one of those drones will go down. So they are something that needs to keep getting brought in. they're also something that takes time for us to go and get those things hacked, so they can't find us on those drones. You now see your FPVs, which we've stepped into quite a bit. Our team has all now been qualified in FPVs, and we look to start smashing Russians a lot more with them. But they are one-time use. As soon as you send that up, it's a one-way munition, just like an artillery round. So yeah, it's one of those things that just needs to keep coming in and finding the right teams that are doing what they say they do.
Yeah. So one thing is, I've talked to lots of people say, "Oh, I can fly a drone. Can I go fly a drone in Ukraine?" And is that enough?
Depends on the willpower behind. If you're happy to get shelled at, it's not just as simple as flying. Don't get me wrong, anyone can fly a DJI or top. They're a civilian type drone.
I did. I flew one, and I can confirm that yes, anybody can do it.
They're super easy. You put in the stress to that. You put in the planning. You put in the knowledge. That's where it becomes difficult. That's where it takes it from just flying a drone to actually trying to go and execute a mission and keep not only yourself alive but your team and still be effective for Ukraine. So just a little bit more than just flying. Yeah,
just a bit more because I guess like I said, I've flown one and like anybody could literally fly one, but not in that environment.
A little bit different. If someone's got the mindset for it, of course, you can definitely come over, and it's a place that you can learn as well. There's a lot of knowledge from all around the world that comes in, and they teach people that have gone from civilians that just want to help. And we've seen some very, very good people with next to no military experience make it pretty fun in this line of work as well.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the drone operators I've encountered here are not military, but are excellent at what they do.
Some of the best that I've seen have come out of high school. 2 years ago they come over here as NGOs, and then they're out here playing video games practically with drones, and they're awesome at it.
It does feel So with your team, like we said, you're one of the few teams that's actually been around the start. It's a long-term, stable team of foreigners. That has not been the case for a lot of teams here. What's different about you guys that makes it that way?
So for us, like, don't get me wrong, we've got 2 or maybe 3 people from the original start of the team. We don't have many. We have lost guys, sadly, being war. But we also have guys that come over to dedicate 3 to 6 months. We have had people here for a couple of years with us as well. But for us, it's just the team dynamics. Some teams, we're not direct action. We don't take as many casualties. We don't take as hard times. And some people, 3 months of sitting in a trench getting shelled just does them in. For us, I think our success rate is we've been more of a family, 100%. We've been a very tight-knit group of guys. So it's something that you do see in other teams, but obviously from an outsider's perspective, my team's always the best because we're always close together. The key to that for us has just been a good bunch of guys, really.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that you have had some losses on your team. Unfortunately, one was a car accident that killed him.
Yeah. So one of them was in a car accident that I was in when we were moving AOs, so area of operations. We were both ejected from the vehicle on icy Ukrainian roads. Weren't driving stupid. We were moving a bunch of our equipment. Just a freak accident on the bridge. We were both thumped from the vehicle. Sadly, one of my good mates was killed in that accident. And then I was left with broken pelvis and fractured my spine in several places.
And when was this?
That was December last year.
A long time ago, but I know you had a long recovery.
Yeah, so I spent 2 months in a hospital bed before I was able to stand again. And then about a month's worth of rehab before I signed myself out and went back to the front using crutches. So,
you went back to the front on crutches?
Not back to the front. I signed myself out of the hospital just to get back with my team, get working. I'd done rehabilitation elsewhere in the country in my own time. Just so I could be back to the team. So
this is a common theme of, I think, everybody I know who's gotten hurt here. You guys go back before you get the medical clearance necessarily to go back.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Why is that?
It's the dedication to the team, really. You lay in a hospital bed for 24 hours, just hating life, seeing all the group messages of what the guys are doing, and it's just like, oh, I didn't come here to lay in a hospital bed. I came here to fight. It ate away at me for 2 months when I laid there. I couldn't lay there any longer. As soon as they got me walking again, once I learned how to walk again, they had me on crutches. I was back out there where I could drive from that to the front and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I've actually known multiple people who have been in the hospital injured and have injured themselves doing something in the hospital because they get so bored that they they do something that then creates further problems.
Well, that's when I got picked up on the road, the ambulance come and picked me up. I got back to the hospital. They'd done a scan, but it was a chock-a-block hospital. There was so many patients there, being so close to where the front lines were on. And they misdiagnosed me. I'm like, you're fine. Nothing's broken. You're perfectly fine. They said I had a broken nose, and that was it because my nose was across my face. So I need to go to the toilet. I was like, oh, they've told me that I'm fine. Trying to get up and walk, and could not walk.
Not fine.
And it was horrible. And then they moved me to a different hospital, and they're like, you've broken your pelvis in 3 places, and you've got several fractures of your spine. So it was a rather big ordeal. They wanted to send me to Germany, but not a chance. I'd rather stay in Ukraine.
You said no. Why'd you say no?
Because I didn't want to leave the country. Because I know for a fact going back there, I would have been stuck there. I would have had to have done the full time in hospital, but I would have had to have done the 3 months rehabilitation. When you get up, you kind of just wriggle my way out.
So, so you're pretty rehabilitated now, right?
Yeah, I'm doing well now. I've been back out working with the team for quite a few months.
That's amazing. Yeah. What's both the best part about fighting with the team and the hardest part?
The best team is obviously like you have these successes together. Like you train, and then you execute. And once that's successfully executed, it's always great. Come back and everyone feels revived. It's like we're actually doing our job. It makes us feel like what we've come here for was working out in the correct ways. And then you obviously have your hard days where you'll get tired, you'll get hungry, it's exhausting. You've got the pressure from family back home, you've got the pressure from friends. And that sometimes snaps guys, but that's where my team's been really, really good, and they hold each other together. We'll always have those conversations. We haven't lost anyone other than due to the war or accidents like that. Yeah. So we're very, very tight knit like that. We try and keep each other in line because it can be hard. It can be stressful. Just trying to keep each other's mental state good. It's definitely.
Yeah, I think mental state's tough, especially after years of this, and people don't get rotated out the way they might in a more traditional kind of setting or. How do you keep yourself in a good mental position given the stress?
Most definitely is just actually sitting back and listening to your thoughts, leaning on you guys, having a chat, and not letting it get to the point where you feel like you're about to snap. Opening your mouth and actually having a chat is definitely where I've seen a lot of my guys have longer term success, and not letting it sit there and ball up and eat it away. They kill a guy pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. However, you guys, in general, aren't people who like to talk about your emotions.
No, definitely. And that's where you have to create not just that workforce, but that brotherhood that you look for in the military, where you can go and have that chat with the mate, and not worry about being judged or anything like that.
Yeah, it definitely is important. So you've mentioned that you haven't been in as much kind of direct combat as the team, just given the role that you've played. Can you describe for people who haven't been in these circumstances, like what's the difference actually? Like what will be the difference between your team versus others?
So you've obviously got different roles. You've got artillerymen, you have drone operators, you have standard riflemen, you have snipers, you have machine gunners. They all play a different but important role on the front line. Obviously, the role that I play as a drone operator it's a new role. Like the SOPs are being written in this country as we speak. We sit a little bit further back but we do offer a very accurate support. We can make ground troops, people that are sitting in trenches, we can make their jobs a lot easier and a lot safer by telling them what's in front of them, what's behind them, what to watch out for. Where if you have, a direct action team, they will be running in, they will be hitting trenches hard, they'll be taking out the Russians. But for me, it's making sure we can lead them onto the correct spots. We're correcting the artillery for any troops coming in behind. The job is, how do you word it properly? It's never ending. It's never ending, especially in this type of line. With such a static line, the resupply routes, making sure that guys on the front aren't comfortable on the Russian side. It's a very, very, very big job about just 24/7 hassling them, not making life easy. But then we also have to try and give our guys a break, find ways to get resupplies, get in and out, being safe. We also do a lot of sensors, so we'll be able to find where Russian positions they fly their drones from their most active times, stuff like that. So we can also pass that information on to our guys so they can plan and fill routes and stuff around that.
That's a lot. So one thing I've seen coming up recently is that obviously things are tough at the front line, and we've had some Ukrainian troops that have relied on drone teams to resupply them with food, munitions, everything. What are the challenges of doing that? If you can comment.
Yeah, it's probably something I won't comment too much on, just because it varies so much.
Sure, we can. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's okay. What's it like being away from home for years at this point? Really far.
It's difficult. Obviously, I've got a great family back home. I've never had family problems really. They at first thought I was crazy. Thought I was absolutely crazy. I called my parents a couple of days before I left and was just like, I'm going to go to Ukraine. And they thought I was absolutely nuts. But over the first couple of months, they just wanted me to come home. And they started hearing the stories. They started seeing what I was doing. And I don't think they quite understand it yet. But they come to terms with seeing that I was happy doing something that I felt fulfilled in. A lot of the guys they've been able to speak to here, so they're getting them involved without getting them too involved, to just understand whilst I'm still here was a very, very hard part of it. And obviously, being here a couple of years now, I've missed out on a lot of my own family life. But the guys that I've worked around and the stories that I've got to tell nowadays, I think are priceless compared to a standard 9-to-5 job.
Definitely different from 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's tough that you're here, you're at risk all the time, and your family's worried about you at home. How do you guys handle those relationships while you're here?
I definitely turn it into a little bit more of a joke. Like last night, I'm sure you heard the rocket attacks.
Yeah, I definitely heard that. Yeah.
I was able to FaceTime my old boy and have a look at this, mate. Some spicy fireworks. he had a good laugh at it. He's like, oh, it'd be nice if you just come home, mate. And I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. It's, a couple of kilometers over that way. So just try and make it into more of a joke for them. And they have a bit of a laugh. They just understand that obviously I'm here for a reason. Get doing what I do.
They're probably checking on you sometimes.
Sometimes if I don't answer them within 2 or so weeks, then they start to stress and start calling people. But it's not too bad.
Definitely, I get that. Do you think you could ever just go have a regular life, a 9-to-5 job after this?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I want to be an old guy drinking at the bar, driving kids to school on a bus on Monday to Friday. And just chilling out.
So this is your future school bus driver? No.
But there's a point in life where of course I'd like to start my own family and relax a bit.
Yeah.
I've definitely done my part. I'll keep doing it, but it gets to a point where I'd like normal family things. I'd like a normal life. Whilst I'm young and able, I'm going to keep doing what I do.
How long do you think you'll be here fighting in Ukraine?
Until I lose all of my team or until the war's done?
let's hope it's when the war's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've spoken quite a bit about the bonds you have with teammates. For somebody who hasn't been in that environment, is there anything equivalent in the civilian world that's an equivalent, or is it just something that you can't compare?
Anyone that's been in the military will understand it, especially deployed military. Not really civilian life. I never really worked too much. I went straight out of school practically into the military. So I don't really know much other than the schoolyard stuff. You definitely have the schoolyard drama, but you're just a bunch of men and can deal with it a lot better nowadays.
Yeah.
I can't. No, maybe like you can't even reply it like to a football team or nothing. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
I can't put two and two together. No, like my military time, that's about it. It's another military.
And a really different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned in terms of the drama, and of course, like I think most of them know at this point that foreigners in Ukraine are kind of famous or infamous for.
Yeah. You definitely hear a lot along the tracks. Luckily, we're not really involved in much of it. You hear a lot over the social media side of things. It's just just another legion of doing something silly.
Well, I think this is the thing too. There's a lot of you that have no public presence because you can't. You're working and you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So, like, those are people actually just working and getting along and doing things, and you don't make the news. You don't make Twitter drama. Yeah.
Well, most of our dramas is like, where's my non-stop from the fridge, or who ate my chocolate? Yeah. Like, you bastard, go and buy your own. Like our dramas are nothing like too serious. Just laugh. You definitely hear it's anywhere you work, anywhere you live, you'll always hear dramas, right? Which is how people deal with them. Really, that's the big thing.
Yeah, and here too, people are under a lot of stress as well. There's a lot of things making things difficult that cause some conflict. So, as an assistant team leader, first of all, how did you end up in a leadership role here? What was the path to that?
So, leadership role for me was we originally started a team in 2022 with an American. He was TL. There was really no reason for any assistant team leaders or like two ICs at that point because we were a very, very small team.
Yeah.
We cracked in for quite a few months and the team started getting progressively bigger. And then once I went home for Christmas, and then the TL of the team at the time, he ended up choosing to go home as well for quite a few months. So whilst I was back in Australia, he gave the team to someone else that spoke the language, and he's been running the team ever since. And then I was also put into that 2IC ATL role, just to try and help manage the guys' mission sets.
Makes sense. What are the biggest challenges of being in a leadership role here?
The biggest challenges is the balance, like being able to keep you guys busy, being able to keep you guys interested most definitely in the job without, doing too many crazy little things. And definitely getting the guys what they need. Getting the guys what they need is a big challenge. It takes a lot of my time. Making sure that I have the correct kit for the right jobs for those guys. Without the correct kit, you don't really want to send you guys out there. Well, there's no point in sending you guys out there if they can't do the job properly.
What are the big things that you always need?
Things for us being a drone team is definitely drones, 100%, and the evolution in drones. They're always updating, they're becoming newer, they're becoming better. And then things like vehicle maintenance, getting vehicles. We've crashed we've crashed a couple of vehicles now on the front or in the rear. Night vision as well is a massive thing. It's a very, very big need out here. And the correct type, it's hard. Kit gets damaged. The roads out there aren't nice. The infills aren't nice. The exfills aren't nice. Especially in the night time. You're smacking a lot of kit around, and it only lasts so long.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can you comment more? Like, everybody is always needing vehicles here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've had a hard time explaining to people, like, why are there not enough vehicles for the troops in Ukraine, and why are they always asking for a new one?
The big problems is that I see anyways is we'll get donated vehicles and they'll be great vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously a little bit cheaper vehicles because they're going to get banged up on the front lines, but with a little bit of a cheaper vehicle as well, they don't last as long.
Exactly.
The longevity of them is not as good.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to rotate them or repair them quite a lot more compared to some of the newer cars that we have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But then sadly, like we get a brand new Hilux or something like that, or a nicer Hilux. And a couple of days later, we have FPVs fly through the window. It's like, oh, great, that was our best car. It's just luck.
Yeah.
The shittiest cars always last the longest, but they take the most repair. So you always get them fixed. Which is the problem.
I've noticed that there's actually one kind of infamous vehicle I know now that's been like blown up multiple times, and just keep repairing, keep it going.
That's the thing. You'll buy a $2,000 car and you spend $8,000 in repairing it in a year's time. Like it's nuts.
Mm-hmm. And the drone too. So one thing I want to ask you about is that lots of people are providing drones for the military. There's also some people providing drone parts, and then teams are assembling the drones themselves.
Yeah.
Which is the better thing to do you think?
Depends who has the facilities for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got the know-how and the tools to do it, you can definitely. If you've also got the guys and the time to be able for them to build their own drones, because it's not a small job.
Yeah.
With all the programming and stuff for them, it's not a simple job.
Yeah.
Luckily, we do have that side of our team which does that for us, but we're also a very, very small scale at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is, especially once we get into a high-tempo combat rotation, you will be throwing out a lot more drones. They get used a lot heavier, and trying to keep that attrition rate up is very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Without guys doing 24-hour swings trying to fix or build drones.
Do you have any estimate of how many drones do you go through in a month?
It varies. And it definitely varies. Your standard civilian type drones depends how high tempo we're working, what sort of environment we're working in. If it's winter, if it's summer, it changes every month.
So one thing I want to ask you about is now the drone threat is so severe. Lots of people are trying to provide soldiers with protection from Russian drones.
Yeah, EW systems.
Yeah, EW systems, shotgun. I've heard mixed things in terms of what actually works to protect against drones. Is there anything?
Yeah, you definitely have your EW systems, but there's people that just put an electronic warfare system on the roof of their car, and they don't know how to set it correctly.
Yeah.
It's the knowledge behind it as well that you need to learn the correct frequencies, what they're using at the time, to try and jam those out. You have to imagine them as a bubble. It's only good for a couple of 100 meters. So unless you're moving, if you're a static target, your chances are very low of being able to dodge that if you're not doing things correctly. Shotguns, yeah, that's good, 100%. But have you ever tried, skeet shooting on the back of a vehicle at 80 kilometers an hour?
Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
It's less than desirable, that's for sure. But it's proving more and more important to have a shotgun around, definitely. Instead of having, someone with an AK-47 trying to shoot a drone down, as we've seen a lot of Russians trying to do, it just doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
Shotguns are getting a lot more common.
We're starting to fulfill our first requests now for shotguns, and people are saying this is actually the most effective thing, and also cost effective just in terms of
most definitely.
What it is. I'm hoping they're good shots though, because I cannot imagine being a micro truck and trying to do that. But
we've been stepping more towards that, but it's also just getting the time to practice, because it is, you need to get good at shooting, especially on the move. You have a drone that can do upwards of 80 to 100 kilometers an hour moving towards you with 700 grams of explosives. It's not something you want to miss.
Yeah, you're going to have one shot at that, I would think. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So I know as a team that kind of adopted working with drones earlier than some of the other teams here, any words of advice or lessons for anybody who's now learning to do that?
Make sure you know what you're coming here to do, without a doubt. Don't come here with the correct intentions and stick to it. Don't change your mind. That's all I'm gonna really have. Like if people want to come here, they'll come. Just make sure they come with the right mindset and the right intentions for the country.
What do you think that mindset or intentions are?
Definitely for the better interest of the country. It's not somewhere you should come here for clout. It's not somewhere you should come here for photos. Definitely if you want to come here for tourism, 100%. Put some money into the country. But I don't believe it's somewhere you should come here to join up for a couple of months and then try and go home. Because either you won't like it, or you will create a bond where you won't expect to spend so long here for. Come here knowing what you're going to do.
And you mentioned that you really fall in love with Ukraine since you've been here really embraced it. Yeah. What is it about Ukraine that's done that?
I think it's just the difference. I think it's the change. I came from a family that never really traveled. And then the idea of going to the other side of the world to fight someone else's war was intriguing. I was trained in that. And I wanted to learn some new skills at the same time. So it was definitely like one of those opportunities. I'm my mid-20s. Why would I miss out on that?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of guys say, oh, if I was that age, if I didn't have that girlfriend or that fiance, I'd go. And I was just like, I don't have any of that. So I'll go give it a go. Yeah. And just the people, it's different. The countryside, it's different. The snow, it was the first time in my life I'd ever seen snow, so that was different, most definitely. Sitting in a trench in -20 was not enjoyable at all. I think it was the change. Yeah, the big culture shock and the change.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize you'd never seen snow before coming here.
No.
Ukrainian winters are no joke.
Oh, it was great. I came over here with one little jacket thinking this is going to be grand. It's only going to be snow. And yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun at all. One of the first times I'd ever seen it, I was like, oh, I'll do a Star Angel. Prime kid era. Done a Snow Angel, sorry, they're called. Done one of those, and then I got off. I was like, oh, that was fun. And then realised that all the snow that's now stuck to me melts to my body. It makes me very, very cold. It was not fun at all. Yeah, I've gotten used to it now.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of volunteers here from Australia and New Zealand. Given how far away it is, like, it's expensive to get here. It's not easy. Why do you think that is? You guys are really well represented.
I think we've got a good bunch of lads. Like all the New Zealand and Aussie lads that I've seen here, cracking, awesome guys.
But this has been my experience as well too. The volunteers we've worked with from Australia and New Zealand have been excellent.
Yeah, I think this place calls all the same type of guys. Like they're different in their own ways, but yeah, it's a very different culture we have. And you'll see a group of Aussies when they're together, and it's pretty funny to watch.
It is pretty funny,
especially for the foreigners.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the difference. I don't know their personal aspects on it, but for me.
So I do have a theory, actually, that, you know, like our experience with Australia and New Zealand is the ones that we have worked with have been fabulous people to interact with and sponsor. And this has been a common opinion that I've heard. And my theory is actually that the barrier to entry is so high for Australia and New Zealand, and you guys have to really want to get here and fly for, travel for essentially 3 or 4 days. It's an expensive flight that most people are not going to do. And so, like, if you do that, that kind of solidifies that, wow, you're really in this for the right reasons. You're serious.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought of it that way, but yeah, it's definitely not easy to come from Australia to here, or especially to come from here back home. It's not easy for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dare say everyone that comes over, it's not one of those like half-assed jobs. Like you're either dedicated to it or you're not.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just coming for 2 weeks to take a photo.
Yeah.
Can you comment at all about why is it difficult to go home?
Yeah, definitely for us ex-serving members. Myself trying to get back through an airport with the Ukrainian stamp in my passport has not been fun at all.
Yeah.
Was it the last time I went in? Being questioned for maybe 10 hours with the Australian Federal Police and Border Forces. They they rain down on us very, very hard. They go through everything. They go through all of our devices. They even fine us for some stuff. But at the end of the day, as much as it is a pain in the backside for us, it's nice to know that my country is going through every person that's coming through here and making sure we don't have any insane people. It's nice to know that our borders are pretty secure, even for someone that's a citizen.
That is true. Yeah, they're checking it pretty extensively.
Very, very extensively.
And yeah, as we know, some people who have fought here have actually had some criminal records other places. Like, there have been people where you would want to look into who that is. For anybody thinking about wanting to come and join the military in Ukraine, what advice would you have for them?
Just do it. Yeah, if you're going to make that call, just sign up. Come over, show the dedication. You rock up and you sign up. If you have those specialties, try and reach out to people. There's enough people on social media now to point you in the right directions, if not the Ukrainian government, and find out what works for you.
Yeah.
Find out what you want to do, how you want to help, and just go and do it.
Yeah, they actually have a website now, which we've wanted for a long time, so you can sign up there. Actually.
Yeah. So just actually getting up and doing it is number one thing.
What about for anybody interested in working with drones here specifically? What would you recommend if they want to get involved in that? Yeah,
reach out to people you see on Instagram. If they can't take people on, they will obviously refer you if you have past military experience. Come over, try and jump in with a training organization here. As soon as you get into a training organization here, you will then find the teams, you'll find the right spots to slot yourself into. There's a million ways you can join up. You can just go through standards SAU, and try and work your way up through there. But come over, just make it work. Try and find those places you want to be.
Yeah, I think everybody I've encountered here, everybody has a period where they need to find what works for them too, and it's an individual process. Which
that's the hard part. It's no direct. Here's this form for this job. No, it's you want to find the correct teams. You want to find, if you've got the military experience, a lot of guys will give you the time of day to just speak your part, and they'll say yes or no. And usually when they say no, they'll refer you to somewhere else, because there's always team ups for guys out here.
Exactly. We have, we don't do any kind of recruiting, but we have a lot of people that we sponsor through PIB who have said, hey, if you hear of somebody who's interested in coming over, let me talk to them just so I can pass some knowledge along and help them get pointed the right direction. Because most of it, you want people to find the right spot.
Yeah, most definitely. Like myself and a few other mates have got social media platforms to a point. We have people reach out all the time, people point in the right directions. So yeah, it's one of those things. Find the area you want to be in.
I'm just going to ask one final question here is, what's something that, for people who've never been in Ukraine, never fought here, what's something that you wish they knew about what it's like?
On the fighting side? For someone that was trained for quite a few years in an infantry role, it's nothing like your training. It's nothing like your training. The smells, the sounds. It's a big shock. It's a big shock. Whether or not you like it is man to man. A lot of things are different compared to how you train, most definitely. It was something that took me a while to get used to, especially, it's all fun and games, firing things at other people, but then actually having people actively try and kill you it's a different game. Yeah,
one thing is I get a lot of people reaching out to me through social media, interested in fighting. A lot of them say, oh, I'm a hunter. I use guns all the time. And you guys have said, well, the deer don't shoot back. It's the difference.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun running through fields, showing out here.
Any particular things that really jumped out at you that's different from training, or a shock that you weren't expecting?
The constant bombardment out here. It's pretty constant. Your artillery, like just artillery mortars on its own, they're just like, holy shit. That's not even considering rockets. It's just constant. It's constant. And if you get spotted, it it's coming down on you very, very quick and very, very hard. Especially being in trenches, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all running through a field trying to duck into little holes.
That does not sound fun, I don't think.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's fun after
Yeah.
it. You sit back, and especially if you haven't lost anyone, sit back, smile, have a very nervous cigarette, and then wake up the next day and do it again.
How do you get yourself to do it again after that?
You can't let you guys go out alone, can you?
So you're all counting on each other to,
Yeah,
to do
it's,
for
it's
each
that
other.
nervous circle of
Yeah.
shit, here we go again. And it's just it's that brotherhood for sure.
Do you ever get used to it?
Yeah, you get used to it, definitely. And there's some times where it's just like, oh shit. Like you have some off weeks where you're like, I really don't like this anymore. Then you'll find pretty quickly why you're still here. Yeah, and it has its ups and downs.
Definitely talk to people before where they're like, I'm done, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, they're like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm actually back out again today.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that they're like, that's not the average job of how that goes. Okay. This was a really fascinating conversation, actually. And so one final thing I know, so you're in the team that we call Droney, the Drone Face. And so people do want to support you. They can support through that. And then you're also one of the people that we match with sponsors. So people can match up with you if they do want to get in contact.
Yeah, most definitely. It was after the accident, the donors that helped me just get pants, boots, and jackets back.
Yeah.
It was such a massive help for me, especially being an inconvenience where I'm stuck in hospital. It really, really helped me. This organization.
Yeah, no, you need pretty modest requests too. It's just basically winter gear.
The first thing I did was just the clothes that were torn off me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I think if you could actually say a little bit more about that in terms of usually what you guys are asking for are things that you would think will be provided actually, but usually are not. Why is that?
Depends. We do get provided some things. You get socks, you get some underwear, you get some pixel camouflage. Whether or not they fit sometimes, a bit different, or like decent quality.
Yeah.
Like for a set of pants that you might wear for a year, sometimes you buy something here in a local brand and it's not as good quality. You've got to buy it every couple of months, or they'll tear very quickly. Or winter socks, they're not winter socks at all.
Socks are weirdly expensive here too. I don't know why, but it's like of all things, that's really expensive in Ukraine.
So a lot of the equipment that we'll try and use is stuff that I've used in the military, or I've got mates that have used it in the past, and it's like you buy it, you can use that equipment, and it's going to last a long time if you look after it properly. So that's a big thing. Like we do get issued some stuff, whether or not it's good for us to use.
Yeah, I that matches up too. Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, no, and it's completely unpredictable too what people will get versus not get, and I've never seen a single person get issued every single thing.
No, definitely not.
Doesn't happen.
It's just like luck. Like guys will help each other out. Oh, I've got 2 sets of this. Here's a set. Or organizations like this that massively help us stay in the fight. Like when I was first come out here, the first winter, I was so unprepared. I was so unprepared. And people reached out to me and they're like, hey, we've heard that you don't have winter kit.
Yeah.
Being Australian, I was like, please, can I have some help? That helped a lot.
This was a major one too, because like for everybody, even if they fought wars before, they didn't fight in winters like this. Nobody had winter kits.
Yeah.
And some people got them, some people didn't.
I was lucky enough to get decent winter kit, which lasted me up until that car accident. It just, it was gone very quickly.
That's the question about accidents too. You also you're injured and you lose all the things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for talking to us.
No, thank you.
Okay, next, if people do want to connect with you, they're able to do that.
Yeah, most definitely. The team would be happy for that.
Yeah. Okay. So that concludes the interview. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.